I'm Rosalie, and welcome to our third day of cooking vegetarian. Today we're going to be doing a lot of things with beta-carotene. We're going to be making a baked stuffed squash and a squash pudding. How do you know it has beta-carotene? It's usually orange, like squash, like yams, like sweet potatoes. So let's get started. Here are the ingredients. Acorn squash, I said squash, acorn squash, apple, croutons, sage, rosemary, celery, scallions, garlic, mushrooms, lemon zest, egg substitutes. Whenever we can, we use egg substitutes, non-fat cheddar cheese, and a little red wine. So, well, let me tell you what I've done with this recipe. I've taken the sausage out of the squash, and you know what that means. Tons and tons and tons of fat. And we replace that. It doesn't sound interesting, but don't knock it until you try it. We've replaced it with all vegetables, gorgeous vegetables. So let's get started by sauteing up our croutons and our vegetables. I'm really excited about this dish because this is one of my favorite things to make in the winter. I absolutely love it. The first thing you do is you take your squash and you cut it in half. And then you put it upside down on your baking dish. And you put a little water in the pan, and you put that in the oven until the squash is tender. I cover it with tin foil, okay? When that squash feels like it's tender, by touching it you can tell, then I'm ready to stuff it, okay? So that part is easy. Cut it in half, put it in the oven with a little bit of water, and cover it. Now let's go over to our nice hot pan, and we're going to start to saute our vegetables. Apple, celery, scallions, and mushrooms. What could be bad? All of these combinations of flavors are so fantastic in our vegetarian dishes. My grandmother used to make this with her own sausage. She was very proud of herself that she made her own sausage. I've been talking so much about my grandmother this week, I'm really starting to miss my grandmother. It's funny how I've been getting all these nice memories have been resurrected in my mind, and I've been thinking about her. I don't want to make myself sad. Okay, so I let all of that come together. My last thing is the croutons. Now that's going to take about 10 or 15 minutes for the flavors to have a chance to marry. Okay? And then I'll toast up the croutons. And then when that is done, which will take about 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to let it cool off a bit, and I'm going to add the egg beaters. You can add a little wine to this if you like. I don't choose to cook with wine when I'm doing some things because I don't like what they do, and sometimes I do. But in this case, I'm just going to use the egg beaters. A little bit of cheese and a little bit of sage. I know the recipe called for wine, but I'm deciding not to put it in this time. I don't think I'm going to like what the red wine does. I think that they brought me out red wine to use, and I'd rather use a little bit of white wine because I don't think it'll change the color, and I don't want it to change the color. Okay? And it's always non-fat cheddar cheese, okay, and egg substitutes. So those are the ways that we cut down on our recipe. Now I'm going to put that back into the pan, into the squash, and take the extra stuffing and sort of let that spill over the sides because that's fabulous too. Okay? And that's how I stuff the squash. And I do all this ahead of time, and it makes an absolutely beautiful dish. That's ready to get put right in the oven. Okay? Now I'm going to show you how to do something that I think is very, very exciting. It's a corn pudding, and I was trying to remember when I was reconstructing the recipe in my mind where I had it, and I think I had it on one of the islands. But every cuisine has something to do with corn, I think, especially the Mexican and the Italians. By the way, the squash cooks at 350 degrees. Okay? So now this next recipe for the pudding, I'm calling it a pudding, but I think it's sort of my interpretation of something I had in the islands. I'm going to get my dishes here. And I'm going to show you what I do. Take a pan, and I'm going to saute up some peppers and onions. Okay? And I'm going to add some raisins to that. Let that saute. And then in the meantime, I'm going to add some cornmeal, and I've got some water. And I'm going to make sort of like a paste with that. Okay? And just mix that together. Mix that all together. Add a little bit of salt and pepper to flavor it. Okay? I've got a little bit of pureed squash that I can put in to give it a little bit of flavor, just a little bit. And now I'm going to make a roll. A greased piece of tin foil, and I'm going to put it in here like a big sausage. And I'll make a little trough in the middle, and I take my mixture. Oh, that's hot. I take the mixture after it's sauteed, and I'm going to put it in the trough. And when it cools down a little bit, I'm going to roll it up and fasten it like a jelly roll, and then put it in the oven with a little water in the pan, and it comes out like a big log. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, this is the kind of dish that really excites me. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I really get excited when I do this kind of cooking. And I cut it up and put it in rolls. Cooks at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. And slice it, arrange it on a platter, and here's how it looks when it's sliced. Isn't that gorgeous? And all these pieces are right here. And that's a beautiful dish to do with squash. This recipe for stuffed squash is a superb source of beta-carotene, which helps protect us from disease. Up next, a hearty bean and carrot soup that will warm you on a cold winter night. So stay tuned.
Pepcid AC Acid Controller. You can be heartburn-free with new Pepcid AC.
My doctor just told me I'll never have to worry about heartburn like my mother.